Hey everyone, just wanted to make a video. I've been pretty inconsistent with uploading lately. I used to do about a video a week, and I think I've been doing like a video a month or something like that, but just been super busy, a lot of things going on. Um, but I was at the beach and I figured I'd take some time to chat about an employee recently that I had to let go. And it's just one of those things, didn't take any joy in doing it. Um, it was especially interesting considering I just wrote an article for the ISS and had a video of the same, line of topic where it was how to find great employees. I'm like, oh no. Um, but anyway, so it's just one of those things. You do the best you can. You put people through the paces. You have your core values dialed in. You've got the get it, want it capacity, all of those types of things. You've measured them up. Some of these things I'm mentioning are out of the book called Traction: How to Get a Grip on Your Business. It's by Gino Wickman. Talked about it multiple times. It's been super helpful to me. So, you may want to check it out. I'll put a link down in the description. But sometimes you just do the best you can. Everything just checks out really well. For this individual, interview went really well. It was really positive. We went on a couple of rounds of interviews, and then pretty much the first week that this person was going to start, we had a training session set up. So we were going to start going through a week or two of training, just helping them to understand the business as a whole, how to be successful, how to use the software. I mean, just everything end to end to help them to ramp up. And so we scheduled that first meeting. It was obviously everything's happening on Zoom right now, and pretty much we've always done things that way anyway. And so had the Zoom meeting scheduled, had confirmed, and then meeting time comes around, no show. Just doesn't show up. So we thought, wow, okay, maybe there's an emergency, something. Because we had gotten such a great impression of this person in the interview, and said, well, this person must have died. Like there must have been some reason, because it just doesn't sound like them. But the reason ended up being, well, I just forgot, So, we're like, oh, okay, we're long suffering. It was a little bit of a, oh no, what's going on here? But so we're like, fine, it happens, right? So, keep going. Had another couple of instances late to the meetings, and then we had another no-show or two. I can't remember how many it was. By the end of this whole ordeal, I think we had something. There had been at least 10 instances. I'm not exaggerating when I say at least 10. Somewhere between 10 and 15 instances of just not showing up, or just really just not doing what we indicated. And of course we're really long suffering. We try to, we feel guilty. We want to, we always take personal responsibility and feel like if something doesn't work out, then it's really on us. And so we wanted to make sure that this person had everything they needed to succeed, that we weren't somehow setting them up to fail by, not being clear. And so one of the final things that we basically had a meeting with this person, we just had a heart to heart with them after a couple of weeks, and said, look, these are the red flags I'm seeing right now. And we just gave them some tips, like just to correct, right? Because it's like we can correct minor things. If somebody does a walkthrough incorrectly, or got the deposit wrong, or maybe made a decision with a customer that they shouldn't have. I mean, these are things you can correct. But if you just don't show up, I've got nothing to work with. Like I can't improve if you're not there. So I can't help you with anything if you just don't show up. So we had a heart to heart, very clear about things were not going well, and we needed to see really quick improvement. We do kind of a progressive type of correction performance type plan usually. But if you haven't even gotten through that 30 days, I mean, you haven't even got to the starting line at that point. And so, had that talk. It was very clear. They were, yes, sir. This person's always very respectful. They were always, very nice, and just still, after that, another week or week and a half still kept happening. And so, and then kind of the last thing that the straw that broke the camel's back was that we had a training with our a former site manager who was still helping us with the transition, helping with some of the hands-on training, and had a scheduled meeting with them, and said you just need to go in, schedule, make sure that you sync up with that person and get on the ground there and get that training, and just didn't show up. Another no-show. And I think he tried to get in touch with them, about 2:30 in the afternoon, and said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I overslept." And I'm looking, at my watch, and I'm like, "It's like 2:30." I oversleep too, and I could still catch breakfast, but it's like 2:30 is anyway. So basically, scheduled I think that was around the end of the week. Scheduled a call with them first thing Monday morning, and bright and early, and had a meeting, and just said it's not going to work out. Like, sorry, and just let them go. It was quick. I think the meeting went for 6 minutes, and like I said, again, it was not something. I lost a lot of sleep before that meeting, so it's not something we take lightly. But it's just, again, when you have an interview with somebody, you have to keep in mind, even with all of these strategies that we use to find great people, when you have an interview with someone, you're getting to see the best of them, and they're potentially getting to see the best of you. And so you've had very little, if any, time to evaluate each other, and to see whether it's going to be a good fit. So we could say it was a mistake on our part. And the thing is that when I let this person go, they kind of knew it was coming, and actually throughout the time they remained professional, and they always just remained respectful, and it was always, please, thank you, and yes ma'am with my wife, and yes sir to me, and so even as I was letting them go, they were still very respectful, and that, to me, I have a very, very high opinion of that person, even to this point, because of that. But it was obvious that they still were just not a good fit for the company. So even with all these strategies, you may still have to correct a mistake. And I think one of the points I want to make is that it's not necessarily your fault to bring somebody on and get a good impression, and then to make a hiring decision. But if somebody doesn't fit, and if you just know you've given them plenty of opportunities, you've had discussions, you've given them the training they need. I'm not talking about you just drop them off and let them sink. But if you know that somebody's not a right fit and you don't do something about it quickly, then that's on you. That is your fault. And not only that, it's going to cost you more time, more effort, more energy. It's going to put more gray in your hair, if you have any left by that point. And it's going to create a toxic culture, and it's going to affect the people that are already with you, because they're going to know that they don't meet the bar. They're going to know, and it's going to seem like you're the only one that doesn't know as the owner. And so you need to make those things quickly, those corrections quickly. If you do have to let somebody go, obviously there's certain legal things, and I'm not going to go into any of that, but according to whatever contract you've signed with this person, and depending on where you're at, there's a lot of that. So, but the point is that you need to leave them with their dignity. You don't need to drag it out. Once you've made that decision, you just need to execute and be done with it. You don't want to be having that person, beg for their job, or dangle that out there like, oh, if you don't shape up, you're out of here, Buster. And it just once you've had enough of those conversations and it's time, you just need to do it. And so you owe it to yourself. But I know that I've had experience with small business owners in the past, and self-storage owners that had people that they knew were not the right fit for the company, and they just left them there. They just didn't do anything about it, and they were constantly complaining about it, or just, I've had owners tell me, like, literally I've gone into the office and talked with owners and they tell me that I think so and so over there is stealing from me. This is the person behind the counter is like, if you think they're stealing from you, why are they still here? And they're whispering over in the corner, and I'm just like, that's horrible. Just, I mean, number one, they probably don't even know that for sure. But if you have that suspicion, it's amazing what people tolerate, or that they convince themselves that they can't do anything about it, or they get stuck, and they convince themselves that for some reason they've convinced themselves that this person that's behind the counter is irreplaceable and is the only person in the world that can do this. And so they just do nothing. Or there's a fear of confrontation, or just the uncomfortableness of having to deal with it directly. I don't like uncomfortableness. I don't like confrontation either. But it really comes down to putting your business first, and then putting the other people perhaps that are working with you and are peers of that individual, putting them first as well. So that's just something I was thinking about. I'm here at the beach, and it was on my mind. I wanted to get it out, and I'm just realizing as I'm looking at this that I've apparently got roasted at the beach this morning, because I feel like I've got like little sunglass little eye holes there. But anyway, yeah. So that's really it, and it's just one of those things that as you get into any type of business and you're in a position of leadership, it's one of the unfortunate and ugly, not fun things you have to deal with. But I do feel relieved after it's over, and I think we made the right choice. So I'm going to pull out my How to Find Great Employees video and article again, and got to go right back through it. Got to go back to the drawing board. That's just what happens. It's important. Don't settle. Once you know what your company's values are, and once you know the individuals that you're going to hire, what unique abilities they have that are in alignment with the role that you've clearly articulated. By the way, once you know what those are, the really hard part is not to settle. Especially as a small operator, where it may mean that, as I've done in the past, where I've been working full time, that I had to work on the weekends. Yeah, that stinks. Sorry, it's not like anybody forced me to buy a storage property, right? I did it to myself, and so sometimes I get it. It's easier said than done to not settle, but those are your standards, and you need to stick to it. And then once you ultimately do find that right person, you need to keep a close watch for that first 30 days at least, as kind of a probational period, and just make sure that they know what it means to be successful. Now, there may be a number of things that they need to be successful long term at the property, but in my opinion, when it comes to that first 30 days, all you have to do is just show up. Like, if you can just show up and do the homework that I give you, some different things to go over, to familiarize yourself with the product, with the inventory, and with the lien laws and all these other things. If you just do those things and then come to the meetings prepared and you just show up, we can do a lot together. We can fix a lot of little things if we need to, but that's just something that first 30 days you got to keep an eye on. So anyhow, hope this has been helpful. I hope I'm not maybe the only one out there that's had to deal with some of these kinds of things, and hopefully that it's an encouragement to those who either are already in it, or who have dealt with it in the past, or who will deal with it in the future. Just encouragement to help you keep going, keep plugging along, keep making your dreams come true. So thanks, everybody.